Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am Joe.
I am Caleb.
And today we are going to be talking to our longtime listener.
Very long time
listener. Someone we've owed a Patreon episode to and a sticker to
for a long time.
A couple years.
Longer than most of you have been alive.
A couple years. Anyway, we'll get to that. We're going to go through Darth Jommu, or Darth Jommu, as we found out, history with Final Fantasy, his rankings, and of course, Caleb has prepared Stump the Host for us later.
Indeed, I have.
Get excited for that. We're going to do a couple things right at the beginning. First off, if you're not familiar with our show, we're a weekly Final Fantasy show. We're going through the series in a very odd order, but we went through the main series first. Then we went to sequels and prequels. And now we're in spin-offs, and we're doing spin-offs of FF12, which include tactics and Vagrant Story and stuff like that.
The Ivalice Alliance.
So our next game is going to be Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Anyway, you can find our show at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me / kind of the show at UFF Podcast.
Yes, and if you're interested in us and other things, you can check out Nude Clan, which is our video game podcast. I've got a Godzilla podcast called The Godzilla Podcast. And a friend of ours who comes on the show occasionally, Caleb Craig, has a show called Puff Puff Hour, which is a Dragon Quest podcast, which of course Final Fantasy straight up stole from when it originally made its first release. Yeah, it stole and improved. And then our dear friend Caleb Craig, who is here in the room playing Zelda, is of course shaking his head at the improved comment.
Yeah, so check it out. It's a good show.
Yes. Schweiss, where are you in Final Fantasy Tactics Advance?
Well, I think I'm about halfway done, and the only reason I know that is because you said you're halfway done, and I think we're pretty much in the exact same spot. We got to this random cutscene where this chick complains about having to dye her hair daily. She's like, I hate it when they call me Goldilocks. Don't call me that. I kind of want to do like a noir recording of I just want to do that for everything nowadays.
The most ridiculous background story ever.
I want to do that. I want to do that for her, like where she's like, yeah, they call me Goldilocks. I hate it when they call me Goldilocks. Rather than them call me anything than Goldilocks. With like that.
I think it was Whitey Locks.
Oh, Whitey Locks, yeah. Like that just sounds racist.
She didn't have.
She's got like a weave, like a blonde weave or something. They're just like, God. Yo, Whitey Locks.
Oh my God, I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to get into that. But
there is some crazy dialogue in this game.
This game, the story of Final Fantasy Tactics Advance is something super meta and something super stupid.
Yeah, so far.
Especially that character's backstory with I had to dye my hair every day. Did I read that right? Every day.
I think that's what she said.
She had to dye her hair, and her mom would cry while dyeing her hair because I guess otherwise, if she didn't dye it every day, it would turn instantly white. Anyway, it was stupid.
Platinum Blonde is in.
Platinum Blonde. I'm cool with a Platinum Blonde. Yeah, so I don't. It's so dumb. But yeah, we're both at the same spot, which is that fight that takes place there is 2 fights past the midway point in terms of quests.
Aren't there only like 15 or 20 main quests though?
There's 24.
Okay, so not very many, but you have to be doing side stuff in this game.
Yeah, I had to grind for a few hours yesterday, and I did that without streaming. I did stream last week. I promised I was going to stream every day. I only ended up streaming 3 days out of the week, and I streamed on Nude Clan for 2 of those days. But I mean, the third day I streamed for 9.5 hours ish. My eyes started getting tired. So I stopped at a certain point. I was going to do a whole 12. But that's why I leveled up yesterday, is to make up for time on that. So I'm where I'm supposed to be. We're halfway through. We should be done by the end of next week.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think so.
Ladies and gentlemen, go to our forum at ultimafinalfantasy.com and please ask us your questions, your Final Fantasy Tactics Advance questions, and give us your Final Fantasy Tactics Advance reviews. we're not going to have a question from us to you at the end of this thing, so I'm not going to give you a second reminder. Just do that.
Yeah, let us know, because apparently a lot more people than we thought have played Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, and we want to hear what you guys think about it.
And this week I will be trying to stream. I'll be streaming on Ultima Final Fantasy's Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Ultima Final Fantasy. I will be streaming as much as I can on Tactics Advance. I'm not going to stream when I'm grinding, guys, because that's effing boring.
It is, but it's nice to talk to people.
I will stream when I am actually playing the game, which should be just this week. Even though, God, I hope I don't have to grind too much more. I ground up 4 hours yesterday, which for me is like a lot. That's a lot to ask for in terms of like, you're not going to make any progress. You're just going to do the same thing over and over again. My max on that limit is about 2 hours. But anyway, should be exciting. We're gonna plow through this game.
Yeah, I mean, we're still putting a lot of time in, but
yeah,
days wise, we're plowing.
Yep. What the heck else were we gonna talk about? Oh yeah, you had a revote.
Yeah, I put a poll out on Twitter. A listener contacted me on Facebook and said that it wasn't our place, basically, kind of dickish, but to decide what the audience, what the fans.
We have the numbers on Twitter. It says how many votes each thing had. So
yeah,
Stormblood did have the most votes.
But I agree with him. I agree, and I said, you know what? I'll put out another poll. We'll do a revote. And I put it the UFF Podcast Award Russian Collusion revote for the best 2017 Final Fantasy release. Stormblood did end up beating out Final Fantasy XV's DLC episodes. It was a lot closer than I anticipated, 54% to 46%. So Stormblood, still the best Final Fantasy release of 2017, according to the audience. I'm not surprised, but I guess I am a little surprised it's as close as it is, but whatever. We haven't played the 15 DLC, so we don't know. And that's why I had to put the vote out, because I felt that it truly wasn't fair for us to pick it. And then, honestly, like, both of those games were amidst nothingness. Like, so it's almost not even fair to assume Stormblood would win, because they both had games that were nothing games almost competing. So.
Oh, yeah. And someone on the forum asked me, hey, Type 0 wasn't even out in 17. And I double-checked, and yes, it was. It was released internationally, according to Wikipedia, in 2017.
For the online?
For Type 0 online. Whatever internationally means. I think it said China has it, so whatever.
Oh, our Chinese audience.
Yeah.
4 billion strong or whatever.
So if there's an original release it's released somewhere in the world in 2017, we put it on the list.
Yeah. That's why this year was strangely skimped. Even though it was the 30th anniversary, it was
ridiculous.
Kind of crazy, yeah. Like the lowest amount of big games that we've seen in a while.
Yeah. Whatever. It is what it is. And our last piece of stuff we got to take care of before we go to Jommu is Audience Maximus. We did not do.
No, we forgot.
In last week. It's not that we forgot. It wasn't written down on the paper.
Well, we forgot to write it down.
That's right. So sometimes you do these podcasts and you tell yourself you're going to bring something up, and then you don't.
Yeah. Yep.
Not that this is also like the most important award in many ways, so it's sad that way. But hey, we got a special segment for you. Now there are some great honorable mentions, and we would give a trophy to all of you guys if we could afford it. But we only picked 3 this year, and previously one of the winners does not take a trophy, so we'll probably just be giving 2 trophies away. Either way, some special what do we call that?
Special mentions.
Special mentions, not
honorable.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mention. Yeah.
Include Krinital.
Yeah, good job with the 14 community.
Thank you with the 14 community.
Great work.
Thank you for meeting with us at KupoCon this year. That was pretty cool.
Very natural.
Everybody else, of course, who met us at KupoCon as well. Honorable mentions, all that way.
One of the dudes bought me a beer. Thank you.
Troy Kavanagh met us here
in Salt Lake. Yeah,
in Salt Lake to watch Distant Worlds, and then we gave him his game back, which is Tales of Zestiria for New Clan.
He came for the game, but yes.
He came for the game, and he's a great honorable.
I will go to great lengths.
He's a great honorable mention as well. Of course, he won last year for giving us 15, which was just spectacular. Yeah. So he's also been great this year. So thank you, Troy Kavanagh, and really everyone else who's super active on the forums, who's active on Twitter, and who talks to us all throughout the year. We just really appreciate all that you do. Darth Jommu today, great honorable mention as well.
Yeah, certainly.
Our audience Maximus, though. First to Shinru.
Of course.
The classic Shinru. I think he's won this 3 times in a row.
He's the only three-peat. Krenatol got unseated this year.
Hey, now.
We got some helpful shit from some people that we really didn't want to fucking buy ourselves.
Yeah, that's
some
true.
Really expensive shit.
So thank you so much to Shinru.
Yeah, thank you for the news. Thank you for the positivity.
That's right.
For everything you do on the forums. You're always a force for good. Even when we don't want you to be, you are. Always great. Always a nice read that you provide us. Yes. So thank you.
Thank you, Shinru. And our next one goes to the person who sent us the headset.
The VR headset?
To play.
Chase Saraslani.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sending us that thing. Like, we wanted to do Monster of the Deep. Like, okay, we didn't initially because we thought it was going to be a DLC thing. And we're like, oh, we don't have to. Yeah, disqualified. Then it was its own release, and we're like, shit, now we have to play it technically. According to our own rules, which we can mold and twist at any moment, we have to play this. Because by now, we were already doing, like, the spin-offs and shit like that, so we can't really twist it unless we just forget the last, like, 6 months of games, which we're not going to do. So thank you so much for sending us that VR headset. We've gotten some good use out of it. It's provided us with an experience we would have otherwise not had. It's introduced us to VR as a whole, and I'm excited to try to get some VR games nominated and winning for Nude Clan just to give it a go.
I mean, there's so many things with the VR headset we've done. I have tried to cord proof my room because of it. There's a little kitty that we got in our family that sleeps with me at night, and he loves chewing up cords. So the fact that Chase was brave enough to send the VR headset was, that's worth the award itself.
Yeah,
I've changed my life around because of that headset, knowing that this thing cannot be eaten up by a cat because I am not buying this headset.
And the thing is we're buying it to give it to someone else, so it's even worse.
Give it back.
We buy it for us, it's one thing.
And then, of course, Schweiss smacked his girlfriend's kid pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. He was showing me, so he just barely got back from Disney World, and I was watching him, and then, like, he was kind of doing his own thing, and I was fishing, and I did a cast, and I connected with something, and he was like, he made a little noise, and I was like, what the? Pulled the headset off, and I hit him in the face with the controller, and he's all getting sad, and and then of course the audience was like ratting me out to somebody. I can't remember who was streaming after me. I think it might have been.
I think it was Cameron. Cameron was making fun of you for it for a while.
It was Cameron, and he starts streaming, and they're like, no, there was legit consoling over stream. I put the headset down. I'm like, oh shit, are you okay? He was showing me his pass or something like that. Oh no, his little pirates thing. Because when you do the Pirates of the Caribbean ride as a kid, they sign you up to be a pirate, I guess. Okay. And that's what he got. I smacked him in the face for it. So thank you for giving me that opportunity as well.
Many memories.
Great memories, yeah.
And then our third winner, man who sent us a thing so that I could actually stream this damn game that we're on.
Yeah, initially I was
something that is pretty hard to find and rare.
Very expensive.
Is it really expensive
right
now?
Yes, it's $100. And the disc itself is $50. Wow. If you just want the disc, it's $50 online.
Wow.
Yeah, I put a bid in on eBay. It started at $30.
Yeah. So the reason I am able to stream Final Fantasy Tactics Advance
ended at $80. Thank you to our wonderful listener, Scott Stewart, for borrowing us this Game Boy player and the wonderful disc of mininess. I had a moment of fear, of deep fear, because I remember everything being there when he sent the thing off. Oh, he also sent us some link cables, which we can actually trade characters. And
can I have all your good ones?
Yeah, we could trade characters, and I think we can go into battles together if I've heard correctly. So we should try that out, try the multiplayer aspect out, like maybe next week before we record the review or something. Just try it out for
Depends
a few
on
minutes.
if you have work next week, really.
Shit, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Not yet.
How dare you?
I probably won't, though. I hope I'll have the schedule I have now for a little while. But thank you, Scott, for sending us that. There was a moment, because I have all of the borrowed stuff. I had it all on, like, top of the dresser in my closet. Like, the headset was in there for a little while because we didn't need it right away. And then, of course, everybody was like, oh, I want to use it for this. I was like, as long as Chase says it's cool, you can do whatever. And I had the Game Boy player because that was sent a while back. And, like, we were initially going to play that, but then our jobs got crazy for, like, 2 months, and we didn't play really anything for Ultima. And then when we did play something, we played a fishing game. So we got the VR one first. So the Game Boy player was chilling in there for months, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I got it out, and I like plugged it in, and I was like, oh shit, I think I need the disc for this thing. And like I went in there and I looked, and like, no disc. I tweet the guy, I'm like, because I remembered the disc, but I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm not remembering the disc. I'm like, did you send the disc? And he's like, yeah, I sent the disc. And then like a few minutes later, I'm like, okay. And I asked my girlfriend, I was like, did you see a tiny ass disc anywhere? And I couldn't remember if it was in a jewel case or like what. And she was like, no, I haven't. I was like, all right, it's in the closet then. And I go and look, and I had like bumped it, and it like fell off the side. So it was like 2 seconds to find it. I just thought it was going to be in the box with the rest of it. And then I was like fucking freaking out because this disc is stupid expensive.
Yeah,
but thank you.
You tried to fucking trick me when we went to our little drug.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you, man.
I brought the game up to Joe. He wanted me to bring it to Ogden, but I was like, nah, I don't want to drive.
Which is an hour and a half drive.
I don't want to drive 3 hours.
It's only what I do every Sunday to come down here and do the show, but whatever. Go.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that, right? So we meet halfway, and I hand Joe the jewel case, and I'm like, I pulled the disc out, and I stuck it in my hoodie pocket. And I hand him the jewel case, and like he's like, so everything's good to go, and I'm like, yeah, everything's in there. Trying to like kind of poke him and prod him to check, and he like pulls open the case. He's like, where's the disc? I just let it simmer for like 5-10 seconds. So I'm like, nah, I've got it in my pocket. I'm just fucking around. That would be funny.
What if I had just fucking taken off?
And I would have probably waited, and then like. Waited till you're like 10 minutes away and stayed there. I'm like, oh, hey.
Now you got to flip around in the freeway at Salt Lake and have fun.
I got the disc. Sorry.
Yeah.
That would have sucked.
You got to get off on Temple and go around the one-way streets few miles. Yeah.
Fucking one-way streets.
Yeah, that would have not been cool.
Yeah.
Would have not been cool. But luckily we got it.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Scott. And thank you, Chase. And thank you, Shinru. And thank you, everybody, for an awesome year of Ultima Final Fantasy. Let us get to our interview of another great listener, Darth Jommu.
Jommu, that's right. Welcome to another guest episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate in catching up on Patreon pledges Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Kaleb.
I am Joe.
And today we have on the wonderful, the famed, the longtime friend of the show, Darth Jommu, apparently.
Which we have been calling Jommu for years.
The very silent one, yes.
Yes.
I'm finally here.
Well, we thank you so much for coming on.
Is the J silent, or is the J just a Y? Because if the J were silent, it would be Darth Jommu, which does sound pretty intense.
I hope not.
Like a bad omen, you know? The Jommu.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If the J were silent, but the J is just a Y.
It's a Jommu. Yeah.
Well,
where are you from, Darth?
Well, I am from a faraway country, from the Viking series. No, Sweden.
Sweden. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're the furthest away, like, listener that we know about.
Well, we got the Disa Ökland from Norway too.
Oh, I thought they were from a different country.
No,
we're gonna have to
Norway.
we're gonna have to get a globe and we're gonna shoot like an arrow through the Utah part and see what's exactly on the other side.
I think it's like China.
Oh,
I really do think.
well, that
it's China.
sucks. There's no one from China. Not well. Actually, there were a few. Who,
Yeah, we've had like 2 downloads from China.
yeah. There's someone that sets up like a UFF pod, like radio tower that just sends out the Ultima. That's all they can get is us. That'd be pretty sweet. Well, we have 5 billion downloads this week, but they're all from China, or the one thing they could obtain.
Wow.
Because we're a knockoff of Final Fantasy.
Well, Jommu, I want to get in and dive deep. First off,
Oh God.
how were you introduced to video games, and how were you first introduced to Final Fantasy?
Very good questions. Let's see here. Well, I was born in the 90s. A pretty good time for video games there.
So long ago.
Yeah, the olden days. Very old one.
1990s.
Well, let's see here. When I grew up, I was about, I think I was about 8 or 9. We got the PS1, got some Crash Bandicoot 1, the old classics.
Mm.
If you don't think so. I just remember I watched my big brother play like Resident Evil and Dino Crisis, and I was very afraid of those games.
Did you ever pick those ones up yourself at that age?
I remember playing maybe some Crash Bandicoot when I was like 7 or 8, but I just remember I died a lot, so that wasn't. I don't want to remember that.
Yeah, I picked up Crash Bandicoot at like 16 and died a lot.
Yeah, I'm not good at those really either.
Those are, I'm not very good at platforming, and those ones are crazy ones. Crash Bandicoot, if I'm right, it switches position, like how you see the map, like every new map.
The camera really
Totally different, yeah.
It's weird sometimes. But then my first console was, of course, the PS1.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, delve deep into the darkest memories of.
Darkest video game memories, yes.
Yes, of course, nothing else. Well, that was it. Of course, I watched my siblings play PlayStation and stuff, and I wanted just to try, and I played sometimes, and it went pretty badly, not well at all. And where can I go from there?
How'd you get introduced to Final Fantasy?
Yes. Well, I was in the early 2002 or something, and my big brother was playing Final Fantasy X when it came out, 2002, I think. And I always knocked on his door and asked if I could watch a bit. So I watched him play Final Fantasy X, and I understood nothing at all because I didn't know English. But the graphics looked very nice, I thought.
So there's no Swedish version of Final Fantasy X, is that right?
What did you say? The international?
There's no Swedish one?
Yeah, it's totally a Swedish dub, yes. No. It was the English one.
English one. Do they have subtitle options over in Europe? I have no idea, because they just released it to Europe.
That's the UK English version we got there.
Okay.
Do they just like give him like an English accent? So Titus just has like
no. It's still the American voice. It's still the American voice actors. It's just that the text is in British English.
I would like to see that version.
I want to see the. I want to see the one where where he yas instead of laughs. You know, like the Spanish ja laugh thing, where instead of ha 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 ha, it's just ya.
What?
That is the version I want to play. I want to play the Spaniards release.
Okay, all
Where
right.
it's Spanish.
Oh, wait.
Senor Titus.
So when you play the games, I'm just trying to clarify the games now when they're released in Europe. Do they have options for at least subtitles in multiple languages, or is it all
Yes,
English?
they have. Many of the new releases have in English, German, Spanish, Italian, like that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I started my stream of FF15, I left the game on for a little while. I think I went to class or something. And while I was gone, Dwayne came down and he changed the language on the game to German. And so like I started the scene with like a Freet and all of that and like that fight, and I was like, what are they saying? I was like, it sounds like they're speaking German. And then like a few minutes into the tutorial, I was like, okay, they're speaking German. I don't know what the hell happened here. So I know you can change it, like full on change it, like voice acted languages now. But yeah, that is a good question. I guess that's something we wouldn't know because we just get the English version.
Yeah, and so many languages in like more concentrated area. Like Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is there a Swedish version of any of these games?
Sadly, not. No, sadly.
That's too bad. So you have to know English.
But yeah, I forced my. There is a Swedish dub of Diablo 1 on PlayStation 1.
See,
They dubbed the whole Diablo 1 in Swedish.
Nice.
So yeah.
What is what's the video game player community like in Sweden?
Oh well, it's pretty strong though. We got DreamHack and we're only 10 million here, so it can't be as big as America. But
I'm just wondering if there's if it's really common or if it's like
no, I believe it's more accepted now. It's not frowned upon. I think so. I think just more and more start playing it, and I think we have a very strong gaming community here.
Yeah, because that's the interesting thing about Japan is like it's kind of like flipping a coin because you get a lot of people that just work a lot and like the standard Japanese work ethic that everyone always talks about, and then you have like one of the biggest gaming places ever and it's like clashing at all times. And here in the U.S. it's kind of that way too. You've got like the old school like people that just don't do it at all and just never will, regardless of their age, and then you have the people that do it all the time like us.
So my first Final Fantasy also then, yeah. Let's see. I remember after watching my big brother play Final Fantasy X, I was like, "Oh, what is this? Okay, that looks kind of interesting." So I think 1 year later, about 2003 or something, I was at a store and I saw Final Fantasy VIII, and I was like, "Oh, this is Final Fantasy." The thing my brother played, and it looked very cool. Had a very cool back cover of. I just looked at the pictures. I couldn't read the text, so I bought it, and it was a pretty amazing experience.
Pretty amazing experience playing FF8.
So my first one was 8. Yeah.
Your first one that you played was 8. After seeing your brother play 10.
Yeah. I didn't watch a lot, but I saw him play 10. Yeah.
By then, did you know like English and that then?
No, I didn't really. No.
Oh, so God, I can't imagine trying to learn the junction system. Like, if I had a Japanese copy of the game, I'd be like, I have no fucking idea what's happening here. No idea. How the fuck did you do that?
I asked my sister.
Oh.
I remember being very blown away by the first opening cutscene. I think I rewatched it like 100 times. It was just so awesome.
I can believe that. I have at some point restarted that game just to see the opening cutscene.
Yeah. Well, it's all downhill from there, right?
Yeah. How do you feel about that, Jommu? How do you feel about FF8? I mean, you said it was an amazing experience, and I would agree. The first time I played it, I thought it was an amazing experience, and of course, you know our opinions now. But what is your opinion about FF8 now and then? And
well, let's see. There are some flaws with it, as I discovered recently. But I still, it still have a place in my heart anyway. I didn't know about like the scaling of the levels. Like when you level up, the monsters level up with you. So I just played it like a normal RPG, and it became kind of difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's bullshit.
I think I fought Ultimecia at level 99 or something. That was fun. That was so fun.
Jeez. Oh, that would be tough. I think one way that some people do it is to have Squall at 99 and then kill off the other party members so that they never level up. Only Squall ever does.
So the average is like 50.
So the
but
average
Squall
goes
is like
down to 50.
It's like a glass cannon. It just destroys.
So that's one way you could definitely do it.
Just solo a Squall.
Yeah. So were you basically just in love with Final Fantasy at that point, or how did it work from there?
But now we can't talk about another RPG. Well, yeah, I just love the music, and I really fell in love with it. And I wanted to play the other Final Fantasies, and my love for it started there. So
there you go. Okay, so what game was next on your list?
Final Fantasy wise or RPG?
Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay. Then I played like 200 hours of Final Fantasy VIII there. Good times.
Jeez.
Did you get the clock to reset?
What did you say?
Did you get the clock to reset?
Yes, it went red actually. The text, the numbers.
Jeez.
After 100, it has a red color, I believe I saw. Yeah.
Is there that much content in 8 that you can play for that long?
I think I did about everything and grinded up to level 99 on a lot of characters and did all the mini games too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And got all the summons. Yeah.
The grinding to 99 would probably be the thing that would add a lot of time in there. And also make the game very difficult, I'm sure.
Very easy.
All right. So what game was next?
God. And I got a first for it now. I found Final Fantasy Origins, and I was like, oh, Final Fantasy 1 and 2, I better play where it all started. And they were a bit different, but they looked at least acceptable in graphic-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I played them probably, Origins on PS1. Final Fantasy 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's what I played him on, too. I think you did both of those on the...
No, I did
Game
the
Boy
first
version?
one I did
Okay.
on of whatever. And then the second one I did on Origins, which was a big buggy thing if you're doing the
glorious thing. Yes.
If you're doing the cheat where you hit yourself all the time.
Yes, I have good memories about that.
Yeah. So did you what did you know about the Final Fantasy series as a whole, as far as like its history at that point? Because I remember
Absolute. I was so young. I was like 12 years old. I didn't even look it up. I just love. I just
like,
played it. I was like,
this is a Final Fantasy. This is a Final Fantasy. Okay.
I didn't look up who even created it. I didn't even memorize it. I was just, these are good RPGs. I'm gonna play them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hey, you can talk about other RPGs you were playing, I guess. What other RPGs were you playing at the time?
Yes, the Legend of Dragoon. Very, very good childhood game. Played it so many times.
Dragoon. That's that one.
I think twice you played it, right?
Yeah, I've played through that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I want to see Joe play it because there's a lot of timing stuff, and I wonder how they would handle that.
Oh, thanks.
Just curious. I know Craig had problems with it, I'm pretty sure, but I might be wrong. I don't know.
So, Legend of Dragoon. Did you ever? And then you picked up the first two Final Fantasies. Now that is after playing FF8, going back and playing FF1. That's like whiplash. It's so different.
Yeah.
Were you? Did you have to play with a guide or anything, or did you?
No, I went in blind. I was very intuitive, I guess, for me, and at that time anyway. I died, of course, a lot. I was not used to that. Yes. But I just kept playing it. I think I had like an end play time of 60 hours on Final Fantasy 1.
go.
Jeez.
Gotta get everything.
Well, I assume half of that was just exploration.
Yeah, it was kind of just grinding levels.
Yeah.
What was your? Do you remember what your party was? I know it was a.
Oh yes, it was the warrior of light, the red one, warrior. It was like a standard party, like warrior, black mage, white mage, and a thief. I think it was. Yeah.
Mm.
That's always the temptation, is that party.
The true party.
And I don't think there's a harder way to get through the game than with that party. Because that thief is useless.
He becomes pretty awesome when he turns into... What does he turn into? A ninja later? Is that what it is?
I think so. Was it like that?
It's something. And he becomes a monster, but
I played
it's not
in
worth it.
12 years ago.
So you played 1 and 2. Which one do you prefer between those two? I mean, we'll get to your rankings later, but I'm just wondering.
Well, the story in 1 was very bare bones. It wasn't really a lot to... There wasn't really any character development there. Or I didn't really get attached to the character because they had no really background story there. Just some random people chosen by the crystal. So in the first game, yeah. I actually liked the second more story-wise. I really the character and stuff. They really had at least a little bit more character background story and yeah.
What about gameplay?
I like both.
I like both.
Like both games. Final Fantasy 1 and 2. Well, it's a similar in gameplay. It's just kind of.
Yeah, the leveling in 2 is a little bit weird, but honestly, that's how most RPGs play nowadays. Like when you play an Elder Scrolls game, that's exactly what it is. I might say
the second game because I love the exploit.
The exploits.
Yeah, the one where you can press a magic, then go back, and then press the magic again and level up that way.
Yeah, everyone but the 4th character will be super strong.
Yeah, so I just did that. So I say this Final Fantasy 2 then because of that.
I do love a good exploit too. I get you. Yomu. Sorry. So what? Okay, you go to Origins. Take us to today. What was your Final Fantasy journey?
You mean like the next one, or?
Yeah. What was the next one? What are the stepping stones?
Oh yeah. That's those two. I didn't, of course, play 5. I didn't play. I wanted that anthology, what it was called, with Final Fantasy 5 or Chrono Trigger in it. I think I saw them, but they were so expensive. I think like $70 or something, or 75 or 80. I couldn't afford that when I was like 13. So
I can't afford that now.
So so I didn't play the 4th game or 5th or 6th game at that time. The 6th, and I didn't play 7 either. I think it went some years actually passed there, and I think it was around. I picked up 10 around 2007 or 8. I think, yeah. Then I after seeing my bigger brother play 10, I wanted to play it for myself, so I started 10 around 2007, 2008.
So what of the games have you beat since then? Like, what are the main series games that you've beaten?
Oh, well, then I had to... Okay, I had a list right here then.
There you go.
Can you say it now? Okay, I'm not going to say it now.
You don't have to say the rankings. You just got to tell it. Like, out of the games in the series, what have you played?
Well, I played the first and the second, not the third. I played the 4th one, 5th one, Final Fantasy 6, 7, 8. I didn't play 9. I'm playing it now, but I haven't completed it, sadly. I played 10. I played 10-2 for 250 hours. That's my sin.
Woo! That is hell.
I really like that. I only got 96%, so I didn't get the perfect ending anyway. So
that is hell right there.
I'm gonna regret it on my deathbed. Didn't get 100%.
4%. That'll be your last words. 4%.
13. I only got halfway into 12. I think I got stuck. So I'm playing it on PlayStation 4 now with the 4 times speed.
There is no getting stuck with that. There is getting killed instantly, though, so you got to be careful.
Oh, yes. I played 13, 13.2. I didn't play 13.3. I kind of lost interest. I thought they kind of just milked 13 too much there. So I didn't play 13.3. I played a bit of 14, but only I like to end of Heaven's Ward there.
Mm-hmm.
And I completed Final Fantasy 15, everything, yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna go through these and we'll like briefly talk about it. So we already talked about 1 and 2. You like the exploits of 2. What did you think about Final Fantasy 4 when you got to it? That's a big classic one.
Oh God. Actually, I played the Steam version, the so good looking 3D version. Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that?
Yeah. It looks alright. It's actually very hard or difficulty there.
Yeah, that's what we heard from Craig, was that it was a harder game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I believe it, though. That PlayStation 1 version of 1 was so hard that I think just PlayStation is where they bring all the evilness.
You know, they actually made 4 easier in the U.S. release on when it originally came out in the
it's kind of sad.
Yeah. And I think they want to do the opposite for 15.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Now they realize, like, oh, wait, they are good at games.
No, now. Yeah.
Now they do their little survey, and they're like, Americans are like, it's too easy. Give me a challenge. You lost your bite, Japan.
How did you play 5?
Oh dear. I bought it around 2013 on PlayStation 3, and then I didn't pick it up until like 2016 or something. Then I started playing it after 3 years later after I bought it.
Is 5 on the PS3?
Yeah, the PS1 digital classic version.
Shit, I didn't know that.
You can buy 5 on the PlayStation Network.
You can do that here in the States, Craig? Craig is talking in the background. I'm sorry. He says it is available. I did not know that. Wow. Would have done that had I known. Okay, there we go. What'd you think of 5?
It was actually the first time I played it around, I started it about 2 years ago, and I really love it.
You really
I
love
want to play it. Well, I have actually not beating it because I'm on the last boss and I keep dying, so...
I believe it. Go get the mime ability and then get
I kind of farmed 140,000, so I should try. Go there, do that soon.
Go get the mime thing. It only takes like 12 minutes, and then mime the samurai guild toss ability.
Yeah, I got about 1 samurai and 3 mimes, and that should work, I guess. Yeah.
That's how you beat him like an American. You throw money at him. You pay him off.
You just throw money at the problem, and he
goes away.
Go away. Don't worry about it. Actually, he's still difficult, but he is beatable with guild toss. So
that's about that.
You just have to corrupt him with the dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it a different way. I tried miming the Bahamut summon, and that eventually just like went downhill. So I had to do the guild toss. I had to give in.
I didn't have mime, so I just guild tossed.
Yeah, you had to have a lot of money.
And it was a lot of money, and I had to also stay alive, which was probably harder than getting a lot of money.
See, you don't need that much money if you only have to guild toss once.
True, yeah.
So I'm telling you, you got to mime it from then on. 6 is a big classic one. At least here in the States, it's ranked as like a really like one of the best video games of all time.
Yeah.
In our publications like Game Informer and crap.
Yeah.
So what do you think of 6?
Oh, that one I also picked up around the same time. I started playing in 2015, 2016, and that's a masterpiece. I couldn't stop not playing it.
Yeah, it's
I
really
just
great.
binge playing it or whatever it's called.
And then how'd you finally get to FF7?
Oh dear. That was actually I beat it all the way through on the PS4 remaster port thing on PS4.
Oh, so that's like it's a newer property, a newer experience for you. That's interesting.
How does it hold up?
How does it hold
all
up
these years
compared to all the hype?
Well, actually, I played it totally not on. I kind of played halfway or something on a laptop around 2007.
No.
Very, very legally, of course, on an emulator.
Yes.
But I didn't beat it then. But then I beat it legally, of course, on the PS4. But I don't really think about hype. I mean, I liked it so.
Okay. You liked it. That's it, huh? All
Yeah,
right.
it's all right. It's all right.
It's all right. Wow. Okay. Strong opinion. Okay. Number 10. Did you like 10? After.
Oh, that one too. Yeah, that one is also awesome. I got really drawn into that world. It's so rich with the story and different races, and yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, I love 10 personally.
Yeah.
So now you said
Those
you
who
had.
don't are wrong.
Now let me ask you again. You said you had 250 hours into 10.2. Did I hear you right?
Yeah. Or maybe a bit more. Yeah. Good
Jeez.
times.
Jeez.
How does one do that?
I think I was on New Game 7 or something. I don't know.
New game. Was that 7?
7 or something. Yeah, 6 or something. I don't know.
No. God.
And you still haven't gotten 100%?
No, so I
What
got
the
to
fuck?
96. There were some stupid things I couldn't do.
Oh, okay.
But that was when I was young and I had a lot of free time, of course, after school. So.
All right. Can you defend 10.2?
No.
No.
He likes it, and that's it.
All right.
No, the gameplay is awesome. I think you guys also kind of like the fast, quick gameplay. That's
Yeah.
if you think of
That is what I could say about it.
objectively. Yeah, I liked it.
I can also say, do not play the musical part drunk. It is horrifying. It's so bad.
All right. 13. Did you get that one on release?
Oh, yeah, that's a good time. Yeah, I got it. Was it? It doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but was it 2009?
It was 2009.
It's almost 10
8
years old.
Oh, no.
Doesn't that-
I bought it at GameStop at release for. Well, in Sweden it's very expensive, so I think it was like over 80. It cost over $80. So yeah, on Xbox 360 I bought it on Xbox 360.
So you got at least you got 3 discs for $80, right? That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, it's kind of a little better.
per disc.
3
it's
games.
cheaper. What'd you think of 13? You liked it enough to play 13 too.
Oh yeah. Many people complained it was like walking in a corridor for like 30 hours, but I didn't find it that annoying. The story kept me going, even if. Well, the story was interesting enough for me to keep at least pushing on. So I liked the voice actors; they were very awesome. Did a good job, and 13 is kind of similar. Like it's very straightforward and linear, and then it opens up, kind of similar to 10 is 13 there. How to do stuff there. And then it opens up in the end.
Yeah, that's a comparison that we make, but not a lot of other people do, because a lot of people are like, 13 is such a hallway. And I was like, 10 is basically the same. It's just a better game, so you don't realize it. And 13, honestly, it opens up way more than 10 does. The Calm Lands are nothing compared to
Pulse.
Pulse on 13. It's way bigger, way more shit to do.
And of course, I I was kind of overwhelmed by there was a compendium or something, and it talked about Lyceum and Farsean. I got a bit of a headache there.
Yeah. And you were like,
And,
You're not alone.
I didn't want to read anything. I ignored it.
You know what the
Close
sad
shot,
part is, though, Jommu? I think
hello?
you're onto something with being compelled by the story, because when I first stopped playing 13, and one of my biggest complaints about 13 is the story. Well, when I stopped originally, it was when I got to Grand Pulse, which is when the story comes to a halt, basically, and you just have all this shit to do. And I was like, nope. And that's when the game's like the game, you know?
That's a new revelation from you on this show.
That's when I stopped playing. Yeah, it was when I got to Pulse. I was like,
everybody stops at Pulse.
I'm done with this game now. God of War 3 is out. I'm going to play that. And then I never picked up 13 again. So maybe it was the story, which is sick.
Okay, what do you prefer, 13 or 13-2?
Oh God. Actually, I got to the end I got to the last boss on 13-2 also. So I didn't beat it, but I got the last boss.
I don't blame you.
big.
I don't blame you for not being able to beat
But
that last
he
boss.
was very hard though. The chaos.
is-
Chaos. Yeah.
He is difficult. So I get you there.
The Caius and then the dragons, fucking nuts, yeah.
Dragons. Insane.
Tell you max level and then nothing. It's like a 5-minute fight.
Sadly, I thought 13-2 wasn't kind of necessary. I thought Final Fantasy 13 ended on a very good note. They could have just ended it there. They didn't have to do the different dimensions or sucked into a void thing. I thought it was... Well, they wanted money, I guess, so that's the reason.
Yeah.
If you think the ending is... If you think 13-2 is unnecessary... Wait until you try Lightning Returns. Like, the gameplay is really fun, Jommu. It's really good. But the story is so stupid. So you think 13-2 is unnecessary? You have no idea, man. I'm gonna have to like send you my copy of it just to let you see what it is.
Oh no.
And you played 15 with the rest of us. How do you feel about 15?
Oh yes. Oh my.
It's not a good sign.
No, I'm just thinking about it.
Trying to think of which version of 15 we're asking about.
Yeah, is it the Royal Edition or something?
Update 5.75. Very good.
Oh yeah, that's right. I thought it was good. It was a good game. But now the craze is like open world games, and it's got to be open world and quest, side quests and whatever. I like that part. That it's so open. You can freely go wherever you want and just ignore the main story and just chill with the bros. The one thing, I watched Kingsglaive, of course, and I watched the anime too. Yeah. To get some, I think I only watched Kingsglaive one time though.
Oh, lucky you, man.
That's enough. That's enough, I guess.
How did you feel about the painkiller addiction subplot or the shaming of painkillers? Like, is that a thing in Sweden? Perhaps maybe it was so maybe they felt bad because they had never put a game out in Swedish and they like found some weird Swedish subculture thing and they made that the side plot for the one guy. Like, is that a thing there, or is that weird to you too?
Really pushing
I think I have to refresh my memory with the painkillers. Is it where's that now again?
Lucius is crushed by a gigantic rock at the beginning of the movie.
No, it's not Lucius. Lucius is
not
the name of
Lucius.
the king line. It's fucking
that guy. Raymond. That's what we call him.
Yeah, Ray Romano.
Yeah, Ray Romano. He is smushed, he's smashed by the rock in his leg. Libertas, thank you.
Craig didn't even watch it, really, and he remembered. He watched it with us ripping it.
And then his leg is in a cast, he's given pain pills. And, of course, he just had his leg smashed to bits by this gigantic boulder, and yet he's, like, getting shamed about the pain pills like 48 hours after.
I haven't watched the film in about a year, so I don't remember everything.
Oh, man. It's just...
it's weird because, like, it's not even, like, a friendly, like, giving you shit. But, I mean, I wouldn't give you shit for taking pain pills if your leg was, like, liquidated under a rock or, like, liquefied, just completely turned to nothing. I wouldn't be like, what are you, weak? You can't handle the pain? It's like, no, I can't. I'm going to go insane from the pain. I will go insane. It's like, there's really no precedence for the subplot at all. It's not just, they're not messing around. They're, like, dead serious, giving them shit for this. And I'm like, what is this?
It's like, you're not missing out on much. You don't have to rewatch it, certainly.
No.
Unless you want to make fun of it. All right. Well, we've gone through the main series with you, Jommu. Are there any spin-offs that stick out to you?
I played Crisis Core for 100 hours or 120.
120 hours.
Yeah, to fight all the bonus bosses and stuff. Didn't make it though.
Oh, you didn't do them all?
No, the save file vanished or something. That was fun.
Oh. I would be livid if my save file disappeared after 100 hours on anything. Okay, so yeah, I assume you're a fan of Crisis Core then?
Actually, I think I play. Let's see. Yeah, I completed Crisis Core before I completed Final Fantasy VII. So yeah, I got
wow.
at least.
It is a prequel, so it's appropriate.
That's an interesting way of going about the games, though, is to play that one first. Someone else in our email or something sent us when we did the Crisis Core episode. Someone said that was their first Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Does the story even make sense without at least looking up some FF7 stuff, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. We wouldn't know, would we? Because we already knew.
No, yeah, I already knew crap. I watched Advent Children and stuff. I probably could have played Crisis Core off of that.
Yeah.
What do you think of Advent Children there, Jommu?
Yes. I just saw that one like 2008. I thought it was awesome because I was so young, of course. I like the action scenes and.
The action is pretty great.
Yeah.
But I didn't really understand anything about the geostigma, whatever it's called, whatever. I didn't know because I haven't even played 7 at that time, so I didn't really understand nothing. But yeah.
See, we played 7,
and the geostigma.
the geostigma still doesn't make any sense.
It only made sense when we listened to the Japanese translated into English production from another podcast that explains what the geostigma is, which is basically a physical manifestation of depression, which is crazy.
It's like mass depression.
Yeah, like intense, like
it's so weird.
Life-crushing, soul-crushing depression. Yeah. It is bizarre.
Did you ever play Tactics? Just wondering. That's what we're on.
No. Actually, it never came out in Europe on PlayStation 1. We didn't get it. We got Tactics on PSP 2007. That's when we got it. War of the Lions.
Do you plan on ever playing it?
I am. I bought a new PS Vita and a 64GB memory stick, and I'm gonna buy that and play it. Yeah.
You got to tell us what you think when you're done with it.
Yeah, it's gonna be take about 100 hours, I guess so.
Some people love it. I'm kind of lukewarm on it, which I think people weren't expecting for some reason. And then Schweiss, you liked it though, right?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, so
it's better than probably half of the main series.
We'll get excited to do that, Jommu.
Not that that's hard.
I'm excited to die 100 times and redo everything again.
Yeah. Yeah. Just let us know. You can tweet us, and we'll give you tactics for tactics.
Oh yeah, tactics I might need. Yeah.
There you go. Jommu. All right, now is the time, I believe. Unless there's something else you want to bring up, I believe it's time for rankings. What's your Final Fantasy?
Worst to best.
Worst to best ranking.
Well, I love them all in a way, but I'm forced to rank them. Yeah.
Yes. we force you to do these things.
Spade Goodman. No, okay. Let's see here. I go bottom to top then. Yes. So on place number, I have I start on 11 then. Number 11, I got Final Fantasy 1 as in the bottom.
Final Fantasy 1.
1, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the story was just, it was a bare bone.
Yeah, I had to start somewhere.
Didn't care about the characters. I kind of liked the gameplay, I guess. The gameplay was good.
Yeah.
As this isn't much to say really. It's just this just battles get stronger. I don't know. The music was. I like the music, of course. There was some tunes, of course.
The music is pretty classic.
Matoya's Cave. I love that tune with the rooms and stuff. Yeah.
And we just did an episode with another podcast actually. We were ranking the FF1 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lipstick is the band name. They were doing a podcast. We'll talk about it on the show once the episode comes out. Yeah, we went through just recently and listened to all the FF1 soundtrack and had to rank them. And you know what? That is really most of those the tracks on there. Most of them are pretty classic.
Yeah.
They're pretty great.
Surprisingly, yeah. Like it didn't seem like it at the time, but now it's like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Songs, yeah.
All right, what's next? What's above 1?
Oh yes, it's actually Final Fantasy 2. It's at number 10.
Yeah.
It's over 1, of course, because the characters are more interesting because they have like no personalities in the first game. So
Yeah.
So yeah.
Slightly better.
You're part of the
story.
minority, but
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, a lot of people hate number 2. What's next?
Oh, I thought we were going to talk a bit more about the second game. Oh, okay. On the 9th place, I got actually Final Fantasy 12.
Woo! See Schweiss's face right now. Why is it ranked so low compared to
But I still like it.
opinion.
I still like it. I remember not caring about some of the characters were you could kind of take them away from the game.
I agree.
Yeah, that's fair.
I agree. What's the number 8 spot?
Oh, so on number 8, I got Final Fantasy 13 over 12.
Ooh. How does that feel, Schweiss?
Well, it's just wrong. So, but he's playing 12. He'll find out.
Yeah, I liked. I'm gonna. It's a very controversial subject, but I liked 13 actually.
I like 13
It
as well.
it was kind of good, so I thought. At least when you get to the open world in the end, so.
Yeah, he's got to turn the volume
It kind of
down.
redeemed itself with the open world in the end.
What's at number 7?
Number 7, we have Final Fantasy VIII.
Wow, that's lower than I thought it would be, frankly, because it's your first.
Yeah,
FF.
well, yeah, it has some flaws, but
Yeah,
it's
some
still,
flaws.
I still like it though.
Hey, let me ask you. You got listening with Swedish ears. How does Eyes on Me sound to you?
It's one. Well, I kind of liked it when I was younger. Maybe I didn't understand every word then, but now it sounds kind of weird, I guess. I don't really want to listen to it a lot anymore, but I listened to it quite a lot when I was younger.
You liked it when you were younger. Okay. All right.
The instrumental version is more durable, I think, with no vocals.
Yes. I agree.
Maybe then.
Yeah,
There's something about her voice, man.
the instrumental is fine. I'd say
The instrumental is fine.
which is not something I say about some of the songs on 8.
Like
but,
if the song is played note for note, just on the piano.
yeah,
It sounds fine.
Yeah, it sounds like
Beautiful.
it's just a song. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What's above 8?
On sixth place. Stupid word. We got Final Fantasy 15.
15.
On
Okay. It's
sixth place.
kind of mid-range there, I guess.
Well, it's not really even a complete game yet because that's released every DLC, of course. So. Yeah, it was kind of bare bones at release. The cutscenes are very far between. And I had an enjoyable experience anyway.
How much time did you put into 15?
All right, 70. What do I have? Like 80 hours something now.
Okay.
I think that's about where I was at, actually.
I think I passed 100 when I finished it the second time.
Oh, okay.
But the clock doesn't stop when you pause, because we can't do that anymore with technology, apparently. So who knows? But yeah, that's okay. I finally have one that I've played more. I feel good.
There you go.
Maybe I'll put it higher when the complete game is out in about 10 years or something.
Yeah.
When it's a 600-hour RPG.
Have you played any of the DLC?
I have every one of them, all of them. Yes.
And you've played them all.
You haven't. Okay.
I can't believe there's not more clamor for episode Jared. To be completely honest, I mean the guy is clearly important. It's like
episode Jared.
Yeah, it's like a jewel. It's like a mini game where you're like a jewel shop owner, and you have to become lucrative enough to become friends with the king and his family.
Stupid.
So everybody loves you. He made the crystal. Oh, I got a fucking story for this already. It's ready. I'm gonna tweet.
I want like a episode of Viv or something. That's the guy with the camera, the heavy.
Oh yeah, episode. It's like the Lost
episode. Fat guy.
I have another theory. Is that it is all in that guy's head, kind of like Lost is. Spoilers. Sorry. Lost is all bullshit, right? It's all in the fat guy from Lost's head. That is what the guy in Lost thought of, was this 15 world.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of out of place when I first saw it, but I just went with it, of course.
I love Final Fantasy. I wish it was in that game right now.
Instead of on the shitty island.
Crashing on this plane.
And then 15.
All right, what's above 15? It's in fifth place.
On 5th place, we have Final Fantasy IV.
Final Fantasy IV above 15. Yes. I can respect
it.
Yeah. Classic game.
Yes, too classic.
Too classic.
It is kind of the modern version of Final Fantasy when you don't have an open job system. Like 13 is basically 4. I guess 14 is 5-ish, but a lot of the like standard Final Fantasies kind of molded themselves after Final Fantasy IV. That was like the moment it became the RPG that it kind of is.
I think if you play them in a row, and our show gave us the opportunity to do this, you can see the series evolve. And 4 is the one that kicks it into high gear. Yeah. It suddenly becomes the series that it is. And then 10, I think, does a similar thing as well. Later on, it becomes a new thing. But 4 is a pretty spectacular.
Yeah, the storytelling in 4 is probably a lot better than the other 3 first games here combined.
Yeah, combined. Yeah. Totally agree. Good character depth in some of the characters and things like that. What's in 4th place?
Well, on 4th place, I have Final Fantasy V over 4.
Over 4? Okay.
Yeah, I really love the job system.
The job system is great, and it really is what sets 5 apart. I think it's still my favorite job system, Schweiss.
Even over Tactics?
Yeah, over Tactics.
Dude, no.
Yes.
Tactics job system is better. Only slightly.
No.
I would say Tactics.
Well, maybe the job system might be better, but the gameplay I like more in 5.
Well, of course the gameplay is.
I'm just going to go ahead and say 5.
Because the enemy doesn't take like 30 seconds to figure out what the fuck it wants to do sometimes. It knows what it wants. It wants you dead.
Each battle doesn't take 45 minutes. Yeah,
that is fair. That is fair.
Yeah, okay. That's a part.
And also with 5, it's so colorful. It has a different color palette almost.
Yeah, it looked like shit to us, but yeah. It does look different.
The version I played does not look good.
It looks gross. Yeah. It's like grass that has had too much water most of the time. It's like this off color. I don't know.
Of course, you played the whatever versions on the PS3, so
PlayStation 1 version.
Yeah. I can't... I don't know. Of course, I played it on the PS1.
Get your eyes
That
checked.
might change. That might change things a little bit. I don't know if I agree with you on there, Jommu, but okay. All right, 5 is good.
Glad you like 5 more than
What
4.
version did you play of 5? Was it like the mobile port or?
I played the PS1 one
Yeah.
on the
Oh.
PS1.
Oh, okay.
So it might be different. Might not be as cleaned up. Certainly, I didn't have the best viewing experience back then on the PS1, but
Oh.
I did not like the way that game looked personally in comparison to 4 that came before it personally. But all right, you like how 5 looks? It does look different. Looks I wouldn't say, is it more colorful? I don't remember that.
It has very bright colors, I believe. It's very colorful. It's happy-go-lucky almost, but of course there's some tragic.
Yeah, you know, it does. It is a brighter.
It's
looking game.
it kind of disguises itself maybe as a bit happy and stuff, but it's some.
I think you're. I
dramatic
think.
things.
I think Jommu is onto something. I think it is brighter. I think the contrast is higher in the actual game, and that's part of why we don't like it because it doesn't look. But it kind of matches the tone almost because Bart is kind of like a
He's very lively,
cheery guy, and he's like a beefcake in the movie too. If you ever watch the movie, it's like
Oh God,
he's
remember
Arnold
listening to
Schwarzenegger
episode.
for fuck's sake. He's crazy.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I listened to it that episode when you did it.
Okay.
But I didn't see it myself.
It's on YouTube.
It's on. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Right.
Someone ripped it on YouTube.
Yeah, and no one cares because that's the only place you can get it unless you have you have a VHS player and you happen to have that VHS.
2 VHSs.
Oh yeah, 2. Is it a double?
It's
oh
over
my
2.
God.
Yeah. Technically 4 parts to 1 movie.
Oh okay.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's above 5? What are your top? What are they? Top 3?
What? Yes, now top 3. Yeah. And the thing and the game that's better than 5 is I have on 3rd place Final Fantasy 7.
7.
3rd place.
3rd
Yes.
place. All right. See, when we were talking, you didn't seem that excited about 7. So now.
I was just hiding my.
Okay. All right.
my
So
true,
7 in 3rd place. Now there's
my true feelings. Yes.
Your true feelings. 7's in 3rd place, and now there's only 2 games left. So I'm wondering now. It looks like you're gonna have the classic top 3. The classic top 3.
Yeah.
We never know. We never know.
Well, you will.
I would know because I have the numbers written down.
But we don't know which one's won.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
one's
I
won.
think I know though.
Okay. So what are your next 2, Jommu?
So on 2nd place I have Final Fantasy 10.
Final
Second
Fantasy
place.
10. So number 1.
And actually, a funny thing about 10 then. We got the international version in Europe where we got the Dark Aeons and bonus bosses that you didn't get on the PS2 version in America.
True.
On the PS2 version, no. We did finally get it on the PS3 version.
Oh, no, I mean,
was punished
many years
for it.
ago when the PS2 version came out, we in Europe got the Dark Aeons and stuff when they were
Yeah.
out the PS2.
I wonder why
So
they did that. Why? Like,
More
did it-
content over here.
I guess. I don't know. Why did they take them out?
So, I mean,
For other
maybe
people.
because we got a later release in
They get a
Europe, so
later
they put them
release
in
for
or
international,
something.
yeah.
You got it earlier then? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That is usually the case. I don't think it's that much later, but maybe they like.
It's a few months.
It's like we're sorry. Here's some awesome content that is going to slam you if you don't know what you're doing. Just don't
Yeah,
explore.
just don't explore whatever
Can't
you do.
stand it. Can't walk here.
Yeah, I got messed up by those Dark Aeons.
Oh man, yeah, that game is much harder if you try to play those things.
Yeah.
And so number 1 is
Oh yes, at number 1, and we got some drum rolls. Final Fantasy 10 2. No, okay.
no.
Yeah. Psych. Fuck 6.
No. Final Fantasy 6, of course, the masterpiece.
Yes.
Ugh.
I respect this list, Jommu. And I'm going to do a recap here real quick for the audience. Last place is 1, followed by 2, 12, 13, 8, 15, 4, 5, 7, 10, and the best one being number
yes.
6. All right, perfect. Well, Jommu, is there anything else you want to say about Final Fantasy before we get into the quiz?
Oh God, the quiz. Okay.
The quiz.
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay, perfect.
Play the rest of them. That's what I say.
All right. Well, Schweiss, go ahead and start us out.
All right. So we all know how this game works. I've got a list of 5 questions. I hope there's a clear winner, but you never know. Jommu, as our honored guest, gets the first crack at the first one. If he gets it incorrect, Joe gets a crack at it, and then it goes back to Jommu once more, and then we move on. So, Darth Jommu, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 1. What is Nobuo Uematsu's most famous, like in mainstream-wise, most famous song?
I
How
had to
are you
guess
measuring
one.
most famous?
One being an angel.
No, not One Winged Angel.
Oops.
Joe.
You mean best-selling?
Best-selling, yeah.
Best-selling.
Most highest selling.
Give Jommu a second chance at this.
Oh, maybe.
What's his best-selling song, Jommu?
I guess commercially successful is what I meant.
Oh yes, Eyes on Me.
Yes, that is correct. Joe knew that one.
Yeah, I misunderstood that one.
I knew it, but I knew the question was asked terribly.
I was looking for the word commercial, but I couldn't quite get it. All right, Joe. Oh, I put a J there. I should probably put Jommu.
They're both J's. It's a real problem if you only have the J.
They're both J-O's, too, so I got to go deeper. Joe, what is the full quote for Dilly Dally Shilly Shally in Final Fantasy Advent Children?
Dilly Shilly. Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. Shit. I think she wants you to move on, man.
That happens after.
I know. What the fuck? What else would it be?
Thought you could quote the movie.
You think you got it so damn hard. Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. Oh, fuck. Hold on. If the movie were playing, I'd be able to like talk over it and hit it. Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. Huh? Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. I can only remember when Reno starts talking. I think she wants you to move on, man. That's what I got, dude. Give it to Jommu, I guess.
Jommu, do you know the second half of Dilly Dally Shilly Shally?
Is it before she says that then? Can you repeat it again one time?
What is the full Dilly Dally Shilly Shally quote? She says something after she says that. And I had it on the old site as like an achievement that you can unlock if you came onto the stream and said Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. I would say the second half, and then I would go at it. Back when the site was really fun.
I have seen it so many times when I try to think about it, everything goes blank. So I had to pass, actually.
All right, Joe. You got one more chance to tie this thing up.
On. Dilly Dally Shilly Shally. Dilly Dally. What is this question?
It is a stupid quote. I will say that.
I only remember you think you got it so damn hard. That's
Yeah.
it right now.
Okay, you give up then?
I give up.
Isn't it about time you did the forgiving?
Oh, Eris!
Wow.
You asshole!
Oh no! Trick question.
I was waiting for Tifa. That's an Eris quote. All right, fine. A-hole.
That's the
Is it
switch.
time you did the forgiving? That sounds like a car commercial.
Isn't that stupid?
Tagline?
Isn't that an awful?
No.
It's awful.
We
Dilly
both
Dally
lost.
Shilly Shally. Isn't it about time you did the forgiving?
I can imagine the Allstate guy saying that.
Yeah, Dilly Dally Shilly Shally.
Isn't it about time you did the forgiving?
Are you in good hands? All right, so no one got that one because it's awful. Let's go, Jommu. What sport was the initial Final Fantasy battle system inspired by?
Oh God. Excuse me, my dog is barking.
That's right.
Okay, repeat the question again.
What was the sport? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, what sport was the Final Fantasy battle system inspired by? Hiroyuki Ito saw a certain sport, and he decided that is what I will model Final Fantasy's battle system after, which was revolutionary for RPGs, because up at this point it was a stupid first-person thing that I just can't stand the way it looks, personally, but...
The Dragon Quest view.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I had to guess then. A wild guess, I guess. Tennis?
Okay, tennis is fair, but not the one. It's pretty damn close, honestly, but they're all kind
back and forth.
They're all kind of close, I suppose. Joe.
American football.
That is correct.
That's right.
Well, that's not big in Sweden, so I don't even know about that.
You guys don't play football? Come on.
We.
Or you do, but you refuse to call it.
Well, football. Yeah, it's called soccer. Is football here?
Soccer, yeah. That's that's fun. All right, what's the next question?
All right, the next one is, what is the connection between Golbez and Cecil in Final Fantasy IV?
You talking to me?
Yes, Joe. What is their relationship?
Well, Golbez is the king, and Cecil is his knight.
No.
What? They're brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Damn it! I wanted the easy question.
Yeah. Okay.
I have an easy one for you too, Jommu, and I hate that it's going to be tied. Unless you don't get it. What is Gladiolus' father's name in Final Fantasy XV? And in that movie.
What did you say again?
What is the first name of Gladiolus' father from Final Fantasy XV?
I never memorized it.
Oh,
no. I don't know.
I guess you only saw the movie once. Lucky you, but the movie.
Yeah, it was 1 year ago. I can't possibly remember his name.
All right, Joe, do you remember?
Gladiolus is shit. Oh no!
This one I knew. I didn't have to look at it.
You knew this one without looking it up.
It's sick, yeah.
Gladiolus' father.
I have watched the movie one more time than you, I believe. Unless you ghost watched it without me, which I highly doubt.
Gladiolus' father. Core.
No,
that's not him. That's someone else.
That is the other dude that was supposed to be part of the main game.
Jommu, you get a second chance.
Oh, wow. Max? I don't know.
It is not Max. It is Chloris.
Chloris.
Oh, okay.
Name.
No, I don't remember.
Chloris.
Yeah, I thought Jommu was going to have that with all of his 15 time, but
no, I haven't seen that movie in a long time, so it's just vanished.
So the score is Joe 2, Jommu 1. So thank you so much for joining us. But you got to brush up on some stuff, man. You got to go watch that Kingslave second time.
So I don't think I want to live through that again.
Hey, Jommu, so we're done now, and I want to just take a second to thank you. Thank you for your support, much of your support throughout these years.
Yeah, a lot. Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's people like you that keep the show going, especially you.
Especially, yeah. If we're going to be honest.
So thank you, Jommu, for that. Jommu, if you guys don't listen to Nude Clan, he also sent us Horizon Zero Dawn.
4 copies.
All 4 of us hosts were able to play the new fangled cool game that came out, Horizon Zero Dawn, for the show, which was a really awesome opportunity. So thank you for that.
And he also gave those who won the Nude Clan drawings and chose that game the opportunity to play the game.
Yes.
So hundreds of hours of Jommu have been just passed around,
And he also sent me a movie, which I have sitting on my shelf next to my PS4.
Oh, yeah, it's just about so it's been 6 months or something.
Yeah, it's been something like that. Here's the thing. When I borrow a movie from someone, it's... And I'm not borrowing it from you, obviously, but it's in the same stack as the stack of movies that I've borrowed that it's like there's a mental break for me to be able to pull that movie off and actually.
Well, you got about 70 years on to watch it, so.
Yeah, okay. I will watch it soon. In fact, last night I was like, I should just watch that movie tonight because I'm talking to Jommu tomorrow. And then I watched Fences.
Oh, that was good. Huh?
It's a good movie, but it's not the movie that Jommu sent me.
That would be odd.
But I will get to it. I swear to God. Anyway, Jommu, thank you. It's been a blast going through Final Fantasy with you.
One real quick last question. How did you find the show, given that you've only recently started playing a lot of these Final Fantasy games?
Well,
what made you search for a Final Fantasy podcast?
That's a very good question. I remember around 2014 there was around May, I think, yeah. I was like, I wonder if I was looking at my phone. I started listening to a lot of, I listened to a lot of podcasts back then. Started listening to podcasts, and I was like, I wonder if there's any good Final Fantasy ones. And I found that unknown Final Fantasy. What was it called? That other show it was too. I don't remember.
Whatever that other
Final Fantasy Unknown, I think is what it is. Yeah, it's un something. It's
yes, yes. Then I found some better alternative. Yes, so.
In May, that's when we started, man.
In late May, I think I started on. Was it like the Spirits Within review?
That was our third episode. I'm pretty sure.
That was our.
And I kind of missed that high quality sound.
I miss it too. We've never been able to capture that. Ever since,
authentic.
It's just gotten so crisp and machine-like.
I would say crisp. It's gotten like blow out your speakers.
Yeah, that's
sort of
true.
area,
That's true. Yeah,
that's for the people who work at loud jobs like I do
and have shitty speakers.
Yeah, have shitty speakers.
Well, I just want to say also thank you for creating the podcast, and you have helped me through some dark times when I've been sad, and made me smile when I was sad and stuff.
Oh, really? Appreciate
so yeah.
Thank you, Darth.
And I have met many wonderful people thanks to your guys' creation.
Oh, thanks.
So many new friends.
Well, I'm very touched, and I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much once again, Jommu, for coming on to the show and talking Final Fantasy with us. Can't stress enough just how much joy we get from doing these episodes with you guys. It's a lot of fun to go back and kind of get a different perspective, get a different ranking. Usually the top three is pretty similar, but sometimes it's not. And in this case, it is, but it's still different. And it's good to hear why people think what they think about the series. So it's always a lot of fun. If we owe you a Patreon episode and you want to cash in on it at some point, let us know. I know we've reached out multiple times on Patreon and asked, and there are some.
I think we have 7 people.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of people that are in line for them. We'll try to make the schedules work. My job is a little crazier now, but I'm like working later on, so I could make it work a lot easier. So if we haven't gotten to you yet, we would love to. So please reach out to us through Patreon, preferably, since that's where the reward is from. And my Twitter is way too many tweets coming at me for Twitter to be a good one. But
people still giving you the nominees for Nude Clan on Twitter. Like, stop.
Yeah. So thank you all for, again, a great year. And then thanks, Jommu, especially for coming on for this episode. Honestly, I didn't know he was coming until like last night. So.
Well, that's when I asked him. I had prepped. I had written an entire history of Square Enix. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to ask if someone on Patreon wants to do it.
Yeah, we haven't done a Patreon in a while.
So the first person I knew how to get a hold of easily, because there were some people where I was like, I know that they're on Twitter, but I don't know what their handle is. That was a real issue for me yesterday. I was like, oh, shit. There were like 2 other people. I was like, and then I was like, oh, yeah, Jommu. Jommu's on Twitter. And I could find him, and I messaged him, and it worked out just fine.
Yeah, that's our methodology, though. It's not crisp in any way. It's just, hey, you got time? Let's do it. So if we've skipped you, we've done other people before you. It's not intentional. It's always schedule based. And even if you only had the the Patreon amount for 1 month and you never pledged even a cent to us after that, you're still eligible to get the episode. So just let us know, and we'll get you on because it's always fun.
Yeah, let us know if you think you're being ignored. Otherwise, check your Patreon messages.
Yeah, because we have messaged a bunch of people, and
Yeah.
some people just don't even worry about it. I don't know.
That's
So
true.
if you want to, you don't have to. Like, that's the thing. You don't have to come on here. It's not. We're gonna make you.
I will. I think I'll start gathering email addresses and straight up emailing people.
Okay.
So to try to get that to happen.
Yeah, we want to do at least one
Stay
a
tuned
month.
for
Is kind
that.
of what we wanted to do a while back, and then we kind of like slipped for.
Oh, I didn't have
period.
time sometimes, so
Yeah.
whatever.
We
All
do
right,
now.
guys. Please ask your Final Fantasy Tactics Advance questions and your Final Fantasy Tactics Advance reviews as well.
Yes,
there will
let
be
us
an
know.
area in the forum to do that. So please get on right now and go do that. If you've played those games for any genuine amount of time, right?
Yeah.
So please go
Or
do
even
that.
if you haven't, you can ask questions.
Yeah, you can ask questions, of course. We'll see you guys next week.
Indeed, we will. Enjoy the grind.